Okay, I'm here again at Sloan Motors with Mr. Sloan himself. Good to see you.
Same.
And you've got a 95 993 Carrera Cab, which happens to be the same exact model that I own, but with slightly fewer miles on it. What's it got on it?
It's about 8,000 miles on this 95 cab.
So it's pretty much factory new, isn't it?
It's pretty much a brand new car. Yep.
So I thought we'd do a little comparison between my car, which is the other end of the scale.
What do you have right now on the mileage?
I think it's 154,000 miles on this car.
Just broken in.
Just broken in, that's right. Let's have a quick look. Yes, 154,000 miles. This car is my spirit animal. It's just like me. It's old and creaky. There's an odd smell about it, but I love it. It's my favorite car that I've ever owned. So yeah, it's nice to compare what it would have been if it was brand new with what it is today. And you know, they're pretty robust vehicles, aren't they?
They are.
And easy to maintain. The parts are cheap comparative to other models. It's really a pleasure to own, and not too powerful, not too gutless, and modern enough that it's a pleasure to drive every day. Like I drive mine 2 or 3 times a day.
It's not just a summer weather car either. You can drive it pretty much seasonal.
This poor car gets driven rain and snow the whole time. In fact, the one problem I have with this car is that when I put the roof up, it sometimes can't quite latch. It needs a little stretching. Like I need to put it up for half an hour before it latches. So of course, when I'm caught in a torrential rainstorm,
that's when it acts up.
That's when it happens. I also left it in the garage one day with the engine running after jump starting my Macan, and it was there for hours running in enormous temperatures, and it blew a belt in the end and stopped. I thought I'd wrecked it that day.
Oh my God.
No. And more recently, when I just got back from New Zealand, I topped up the oil a little too vigorously, and then I went for a drive, and I managed to get a video of that, which I'll show now. Shit! Oh shit! Throwing up a smoke screen. Ooh, I don't know that we're gonna make this. Ooh, we got a problem. I had to pull over and just leave it on the side of the road and wait for night time because all the neighbors were, what, the smoke screen, and drain a little bit of oil
out. Crop duster.
Yeah, crop dusting, that's right. So this car gets a beating. It's driven all year round and it just never has any problems. I'm amazed.
They're over-engineered. They're great cars. They don't need much. They're not, I mean, the entry fee is expensive to get into them, but once you're there, I mean, they're not needy cars. They don't demand $10,000 out of your pocket every year.
They don't. They don't. This really doesn't cost me anything. And it's even for an idiot like me, they're pretty easy to work on. So I fix a lot of the problems myself. Just little bits and pieces, and get the oil changed once a year. And
that's all it needs. That's all it needs.
It's
really
the rock solid. Then quite a different car to the next generation, the 996. Obviously, air-cooled, water-cooled, but completely different driving experience as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you basically wear the car, right? I mean, it's small enough where you fit very comfortable in it. Obviously, it's still very analog, not adjustable steering column, which surprises a lot of people because, you know, they feel like it is the most refined air-cooled car, so you would get creature comforts like that. But
they really didn't. It's interesting in that, you know, by the 993 they were just cramming stuff in.
Sure.
You know, and buttons and switches are just sort of put wherever they can fit them, like a lot of the previous generations, and they're stuck with the same sort of size and just putting more technology in. So they've got airbags and anti-lock brakes and so forth. But it was quite a different car than the 996. What is? And my car, obviously the paintwork is the big difference. I'd say it's got dings and scratches all around it.
But it wears its full story.
Yeah, that's right.
You know exactly every single scrape, where it came from, and it's got a full story to it. The white car is original paint.
So let's have a look at the paint on the white car. The white car is obviously immaculate at that miles. Not a single problem.
Now, you know, two of the last previous owners were collectors. So they kept the car and, you know, drove it sparingly. I'm doing the same as well. But I love, because, you know, I have a lot of guys that couldn't afford these cars when they were new in 95, and this is a second chance to get a brand new 993.
Yeah.
So, and I love that. And I've had plenty of guys that buy these cars for very low mileage, and the next time I talk to them, they have 25,000 miles on them because they actually use them.
Yeah.
So,
that's
really,
such a pleasure to drive.
Yeah.
Just the right amount of power. Just an easy car to drive. I find the seating position, the way your hand just falls to the gear lever, the way the pedals fall to the floor, it's a beautiful, fun car to drive.
It's very forgiving too.
Very,
like, you know, a lot of the earlier cars, you definitely need to know exactly when to lift your foot for the clutch, especially like in a 915 or something like that. But like with a 993, again, they're just the most refined, and they're just so easy to use.
And what do you look for? I know there's a few little catches, like sometimes the door stops.
Door check, that's a very common issue, the brake.
Obviously this one's brand new. My one's good as well. Just if people are abusive with pushing the door open too much.
Correct, yeah. So that's a very common issue.
Yeah.
It's also very expensive to correct, to fix it correctly. You know, it's not a cheap thing to do. And other than that, I'm looking for, obviously I'm measuring the paint to make sure it's all original.
Yep.
I'm also looking for a lot of these wear and tear marks. This is very common. This actually has it right here, this little split in the trim, dragging your foot over here to get into the car.
Mine's wearing out here.
Again,
mine's got wear marks here as well.
It's super common for that to happen. I love to hear the bells and whistles and make sure that they're not, they weren't. So it's all there, it's all working. I mean, that's about it really, just to make sure that there isn't any type of heavy wear on it.
Yep.
You know, it is very common for these cars to have the odometers to break over the years.
Oh, okay, yep.
So I want to make sure that the car is an honest car. You don't want to track the mileage just to make sure it all lines up.
Yep.
And there's ways to see the car if it's been what they call clocked, or taken apart. So you can kind of see if the car's
wear?
Yeah, you can see wear. You can see, just the fact that it's, you could check the engine miles on it and hours on the car to see if it's been used too much. This is a 95, so it doesn't have the Vari-RAM.
Yeah.
So this is the 272 horsepower car. The later cars have a little more horsepower, about 202.
And some people prefer this engine for the simplicity of that.
100%. Yeah. There's an issue with the secondary intake clogging up with carbon. Not a common issue. I've sold hundreds of these cars, and it's happened about a half a dozen times. That's mostly an emissions thing. You don't really notice a big difference in the power of the car when you do have that issue, but a check engine light will come on because of that. So
Let's have a look at my beat up engine.
These cars also, the 95s also have an OBD1 port, not the later cars with the OBD2. So that's another big difference between the two of them.
And that's also a benefit sometimes, like here in Connecticut, you have to get smog.
Correct.
Whereas this car doesn't, because it doesn't have the OBD2.
That's right, it's exempt.
I noticed there's another big difference with the 95s, is that they've got an air horn.
The two horns.
The air horn, whereas the 96 and onwards have a regular electronic horn. And the sound of the horn is completely different here. I'll toot the horn so you can hear. Yeah, that's a 95 sounding horn. My 150,000 miles. This is from when I left it in the garage with the heat. But otherwise, it's just a used engine, but solid.
Yeah, solid. They don't really.
When we take them for a drive, we might just do a little third gear pull and see how much
Targa's making himself.
Targa. We've got a lot of dogs and gorillas here today. So I'm very interested to drive what is basically a brand new version of my car and see what the difference is. Otherwise, different stereo, same speakers, looks like much the same options as my car.
This has got hi-fi. It's supple leather. I know you redid the interior on a car. Do you remember if it came with supple or if it was
it was supple. Mine was original supple as well.
Which doesn't wear well usually on convertible, just because you have the top down, so the UV and whatnot. But this one, obviously, it's been cared for over the years. But I mean, it's a very simple car, like you pointed out already. It's just such an easy car to live with.
Yeah. And I've found the parts to be reasonable compared to other models, and I think it's because Porsche sold the rights to a few years when they were going broke. So
a lot of third party.
So I've replaced my headlamps and fog lamps. And they were only a couple $100.
No, that's a good observation. I think the earlier stuff, especially like the classic stuff, that is definitely more expensive. I'm seeing more stuff that, again, these cars being 25 years plus, things are just starting to wear out. The steering racks, again, I mean, that's not a cheap thing to fix. Stuff like that are just kind of wearing out just because of time, really. But again, to your point, you could buy this entire car out of a catalog, parts-wise. I mean, you can get anything you need.
Yeah.
There are really a few things. The ABS pumps are starting to become a little bit unattainable, but I'm sure, you know, there's people out there rebuilding those pumps. But other than that, I haven't really been stumped on too many things for the car.
And this is the as new.
There's a copy of the window sticker, yep.
So it was 74, brand new?
Yeah,
wow.
so, which was more expensive than the coupe. If you think about it, the cabs used to be more expensive than a standard C2 coupe at the time.
Yeah. And these days, the coupe is considered the better car.
What I always tell people with the Cabriolets, especially on the 993s, is that you could use this car into the colder months because it's a double insulated top. It's not like a Jeep top where it's flapping around, and it is in the heater, as you know.
No, the heater's great, yeah.
Great, it's fantastic. So it's definitely a 2 cars in one. You get a coupe and a cab out of it.
Yeah.
So you can use it pretty much, you know, again, during the colder months. It's pretty usable. I mean, if I have one gripe against the 993 cabs, is that there's a big piece of canvas right here, so the blind spot could be
the blind spot when the top's up.
When the top is up.
Impressive. Yeah, backing this car is a challenge.
Yeah.
When the top is up, there's no question.
It's pretty much the only real design flaw, in my opinion, in terms of, you know, the big difference between this and the coupe is that big blind spot. But other than that, it's.
I noticed sometimes that you can get a little bit of rust under.
Correct.
It.
Yeah. These gaskets they do trap water in there. I like to have a little blower that I blow the water out after I wash them.
Yep.
It's very common to get a 993 with cowl damage, rust. It gets right around here. Another thing is if you have 18s on these cars, sometimes they'll get a little bit of cracking in the A-pillar and the paint right here, just because it's such a big wheel, small sidewall, not very forgiving. Again, not incredibly common, but it does happen from time to time. I do like how your car sits a little bit lower.
Yeah, mine's
you have almost like a European ride height.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably because my suspension has collapsed. Too many gorillas and dogs in there.
This is the U.S. ride height is definitely considerably higher. That was part of our DOT laws back in the day. So,
but that's fixable.
Absolutely, it's a very common modification right off the bat when my clients buy these cars. They go straight to the suspension and also the Porsche Classic radio, which is also a very common thing that people install with these cars.
Yes.
That still has the Becker supplied 210, CR210.
Yeah, mine's got the version before.
Yeah, 95 had that too.
Mine's got the cassette tape.
Yeah, 95 had the cassette type.
And I've put a Bluetooth module in my cassette tape so it can play off. Yeah, so it works. Yeah, you can see on my one, this is what we were talking about.
Yeah, again, very common from dragging your foot over there.
Rubbing here, but otherwise stands up pretty well. Yeah, as I said, the leather's been redone. The seats were completely worn through when I got this car. And there were bits of trim falling off it, and the speakers didn't work.
Common, and these little guys like to break too.
Yeah, those got replaced.
Yep, that's very common as well.
Yeah, this little thing around the key got replaced, everything. Yeah, little bits and pieces, which are all $25, whatever.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
it really
isn't. Not a big deal. It's people walk up to this car and think that it's $100,000 car. They're like, wow, you know.
You'll take 100 for it.
I'll take 100 for it. Yeah. Well, I probably wouldn't actually. You know, the previous owner who had this for years is constantly asking to buy this back because he misses it so much. And keeps ratcheting up the price. So, but yeah, I'm not sure that I'll ever get rid of it now. It's as I said, my spirit animal.
You get attached and become, part of your family.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll take this for a drive and see how it drives differently than mine. But it's good. My car's going to be the camera car today. That's why this camera's hanging all off it here. And we'll do a little.
Also, the 95s have a little bit different with the later cars have that drive block system, so that kind of annoys people too when you have to sequence it. For whatever reason, the 95s didn't have that too.
The
key fob.
Yeah, that is annoying.
And there's places now that kind of convert it back to not using it, so you don't have to do the sequence every time you start the car up. But 95s don't have that, so that's also another feature that.
Yeah, so they really stand up well.
Good.
Yeah. All right, very good. Let's go for a drive.
Sounds good.
Okay, here we go. In the 95 Porsche 993 Carrera, same as my car. And immediately I noticed this car's a little smoother. Yeah, mine's got a little bit of hesitation at low throttle, whereas this doesn't have that. I think it's because I overfilled the oil. Otherwise the power seems much the same. Actually this seems quieter as well. Let me just drop it down a gear. Yeah, I don't hear the engine in this car as much as I do in my car. But otherwise everything's just brand new. This 8,000 mile 993 is a bit like driving it out of the dealership. This is what it would have been like. And what an amazing experience that would have been. But yeah, the 993, maybe I'm a little biased because I own one, but it has quickly become my favorite model 911 by far. And the reason for that is that they're just the right amount of power. Like you have to push the car. 250, 270 horsepower is a nice amount of power. Still got a bit of get up and go, but you're not doing 100 miles an hour every time you put your foot down. The other thing is that it's a small car. It feels compact compared to the modern cars as well. And I love the old pedal arrangement, how the pedals go down on the floor. The gear lever's just where you want it to be. I don't know. At least for my body shape, the driving position for the 993 is just perfect for me. I'm also a bit of a sucker for old-fashioned analog dials and no nannies. Like these cars have no traction control or anything like that. This is a big plus as far as I'm concerned as well. But surprisingly, the driving experience is much the same as my car with 150,000 miles on it. Obviously probably a few more creaks and rattles in my car, but really the biggest difference I think is that I'm actually nervous driving this car being worth more than $100,000 because of its low mileage. My car on the other hand, probably worth $50,000-ish, so less than half as much. And my car is, if I damage the paint in my car, it doesn't bother me. Whereas I'd be a little more concerned in this car. Okay, let's do a little pull in third gear. So we're doing 35 miles an hour, we'll go up to about 80. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, mine's actually pulling away, come on! Well, there you go. There's not much difference in power. If anything, my old car, my 150,000 mile car, was pulling a little better. I think this one was doing a little better at the top end though. But yeah, I don't feel a power difference between the two cars. So once again, high mileage hasn't had a big impact on the engine as such, just cosmetic wear, as I said. Yeah, the 993 being the last of the air-cooled was really quite refined. It really worked out most of the problems. Like, there isn't any major issues that happen with these cars. So I'm doing about 80 miles an hour, get a bit of wind noise. Luckily I have the optional Gorilla in the back, which blocks some of the wind coming forward. So in ranking of pricing, the coupe is more sought after, there's no question. You pay about 10 grand on average, less for a Cabriolet, and the manual transmission's more sought after as well. You pay, once again, sometimes 10 grand more for a manual transmission. There's nothing wrong with the Tiptronic automatic. It's a nice smooth transmission, but yeah, the 6-speed manual is the one to go for. This is the first time I've used my 993 as a camera car as well, so I never get to see it on the road being driven. So it's pretty cool to see my own car cruising along, and it looks pretty cool. It's got its little tail up. There's something about the shape of the 993 that just makes me smile. I really love them. That's such a great car.
So that's the very low mileage 911 993 edition Carrera Cab. But since we're at Sloan Motors, there is actually an even lower mileage 911 993 generation that I wanted to show you while we're here. So let's slip back to the showroom.
Okay, so while we're on the subject of near new 993 911s, you've got another one in stock, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Even lower mileage, I believe.
This thing is basically your second chance to buy a brand new 98 C2S with only 4,000 original miles.
What?
It's a one-owner car. It's all original, down to the original tires on the car. Of course.
Really? So these are 98 tires.
The 98 hard as a rock.
Why? They're wood. Wood tires.
Of course, it's going to be sold with new tires, but it's just absolutely preserved from day one. It is an absolute reference example.
Wow. Let's have a sniff inside.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, it smells brand new, doesn't it? Look at it. Oh, and it's leather, everything.
So this has the optional $4,000 full leather interior. So that's center console, yep. The knee bar, headliner, the dash, the door cards, everything is
really?
leather.
Oh, I've never seen the headliner leather.
Yep. Everything.
Wow.
So this car is literally brand new. It's brand new. 4,000 miles, one owner car.
Wow, this is really straight out of the factory,
It is, yeah. It's one of the best examples I've ever had. And I remember being around these cars when they were brand new.
Yep.
And like I said, it's like a second chance to get a brand new 993 C2S and a 98 on top of it. So as we know, it's the last of the air-cooled cars. Just an incredible car. It took me a long time to get it. The owner was very attached to it for obvious reasons.
I bet.
But I mean, even like we were discussing earlier with the gaskets, this doesn't have that issue.
Oh, he doesn't know.
You could tell the guy grabbed it in the same position every single time. Every time he got out, it's the only time you see oils is right here.
Yep.
Everything else is just matte finish, like he didn't touch anything else a part of the car.
Wow. Yeah, it is perfection, isn't it?
Yep, and it was ordered with all the right options. So as we know, the C2Ss were pretty much stripper cars. They didn't come with the options like the C4Ss with a limited slip, the ABD.
Oh, okay, so that's all added.
This was added to it. So it was ordered with the full leather interior, LSD, active brake differential, the motor sound package, and the hollow spoke wheels.
And the S gets the
twin grill. Yep.
What else does the S get?
The graphite package, so you'll see the shift knob, the e-brake, and the bezels around the gauges are a graphite color.
Yep.
And of course, there's a screen print of it's screened on the tack face Carrera S.
Right, we saw that.
Whereas the 4S didn't get that. So the 4S didn't. It came with more mechanical options included in the package, but the appearance package, like we said, the twin grill and the graphite stuff that came on the C2S.
Yeah. What a beauty. Oh, wow, great. I look forward to driving more of your cars soon.
Absolutely. It's always
amazing.
a pleasure.
Always great coming in here and traveling back in time. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you again for coming.